blue bar to the right.
If that's there, it should be.
Yes.
But it's the sound on it. It's got marks for the audio capture.
Do you want me to try to find it on my phone?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good idea. We need to talk so you know.
Oh, I'm still pulling it up.
Okay.
I have to go to mine and Jackie's Facebook Messenger. Then I have to click on that. It takes me to Facebook, and then I have to click on there.
Okay.
It's not showing us. It's a black screen. But it's still loading. Oh, yes.
And can you hear us?
We good?
We need to talk so you know.
Oh, I'm still pulling it up. There we go. Go to mine and Jackie's.
Hey, let's look. All right, I'm ready.
Okay, I'll call this meeting to order. Lori, do a roll call, please.
Okay. Cook.
Here.
Jarzell.
Here.
Cameron. Here. Kyneth.
Here.
And Loomis.
Here. I don't know if you guys want me to read all this. I'll read it next time, but if it's okay. But basically, the numbers here are the general fund. I came up with these numbers for the new people. I came up with these numbers from the audit from March 31st, 2024. That's where we stood. The projected revenue sharing and the tax roll, what we're projected to get. The fire fund, same way, March 31st audit. Police is the same thing. And also the tax levy that we're expecting to get in. The building fund, or I should say the refuge fund is the same way. Machinery fund is what was in there as of March 31st, 2024. And the Murphy Lake weed control is what was in the audit March 31st, 2024, and also what we expect to get from the tax levy. The next line down, be it further resolved, this is what I'm expecting to spend for the year in those same funds. Anybody got any questions?
Did you compare these with our budget adjustments, and so we don't have to do so many budget adjustments?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I can't project on what's going to happen next year. I expect what's going to happen, but let's say if something unordinary happens, but yeah, this is what I took. Let me see, be December 31st, 2025 or 2024, on what we spent, where we're at, how much we got left. Some of those funds I increased, and some of them I kept the same. So to answer your question, yeah, that I did take those into consideration.
Okay.
What is the police fund projected to be so high compared to what we're going to spend on it?
Basically, we keep increasing, and we have lowered the millage, trying to offset it. And basically, we don't want a big surplus, but we also want some in there to cover it. We have lowered the millage rate. I think we started out 2.5, or I'm projecting to go down to 1.9. Each year we drop it, but it seems like we're still getting ahead of it. We don't want to take the people's money and save it, as a savings.
Right.
As long as we got a big a number in the account, I want to keep decreasing it so the people's not paying. We're saving it in a savings account.
But we
If
also
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
we also want to take into account to have a little bit of a cushion, so that like an extra year's worth of cushion. We didn't raise the garbage or the refuse very often, and now we are in the rears in the refuse because we didn't raise it, and now we have to raise it a bunch at a time. So
How much should we?
Robert's trying to balance things out so that you have enough in case there's a catastrophe, but you also don't have too much to be, like you said, a savings account.
Yeah, I projected we had $150,000 left over from last year, and so I expect to keep the rate the same as $240.
Are we in the rears though to that?
Mhm.
No? Okay, because on
That's what happens with those journal entries.
the treasurer's report is showing that.
Yeah, I agree, but
We
my
have to
numbers
start
my
thinking
numbers didn't add up, and so I got a hold of Marcus at CPA, and what happened was the journal entries weren't done. But once we went through and straightened all that out, there was $150,000 left over
Okay,
because ours looked like it was in the rear, but the audit showed that there was $150,000 excess. And so it didn't add up to me. So I called Marcus.
Okay.
He said, "Did you guys do the journal entries?" I said, "I don't know. I don't deal with that." I asked Jackie. So we figured it out. And what happened, some of the journal entries didn't get done. Jackie could probably explain it more than I
okay.
can.
I knew you had there were some
Yeah.
tabs that weren't put in front. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're discussing refuse
That
right
was
there,
a
right?
refuge.
Refuse,
yeah.
not police.
Right, that
Okay,
one was
sorry. We had
refuse.
Yeah.
switched, and I was like, wait a second. Okay.
So that's what happened there. Some of the journal entries were done. It was an honest mistake once we got it straightened out. Because, like I say, the auditor didn't match on what our treasurer's report said. And I couldn't figure that out. And that's what it was. This is the page 2. This is the salary for the supervisor. I don't know. I'm happy with it, but I'll do what everybody else wants to do. It's 98.24 right now. Also, page 3 is for the clerk. The present salary is $11,500 per year. Okay, page 4 is for the treasurer. The annual salary is $85.49. And page 5 is for the trustees. The annual salary is $32.03. Like I say, I'm happy with that, but I'll do what everybody else wants to do.
So this means you're not giving us any kind of cost of living raise.
No, because I feel the residents that we represent probably didn't get no cost of living raise. Majority of them.
So
And like I say, Sharon, that's only my thoughts. If somebody else has got better thoughts, hey,
well,
you asked me what my opinion is. I told you.
we're not staying current to inflation or to what other areas are doing at all.
How many hours a week do you put in?
Depends on the week. Depends on the month. During tax season, I'm here probably, it just depends.
Well, just the average, just on a,
I'm here probably, I'd say 8 hours. 8 hours a month when it's not tax season, and probably more like 10 to 20 hours a month when it isn't tax season or when it is tax season. So, and with the amount of time I put into preparing for meetings and looking into things for meetings has significantly gone up. So just to give you a little, okay, go ahead. What do you have questions?
I was just wondering how many hours you guys put in.
I'm here Wednesdays and Thursdays sometimes, and then whenever needed. I'm basically on call. Jackie can call me at pretty much any time. And then there's the off hours that I'm doing work that I'm not here. It seems like the FOIA requests have been on, like,
Unusually
I've got 3 FOIAs right now. One of them, it's been the last 2 weeks. Every spare second I have, I'll come in after hours, so I don't.
So do I.
I'm here during the day on Wednesdays.
So then, what I'm thinking here is that this is not a full-time job, but these numbers seem a little bit low,
Mhm.
I think.
So Robert's never liked giving raises.
No, I never like to give myself a raise.
Okay.
I've always asked for your input, Sharon, so don't start there.
Okay. So we used to have percentage raises, 3 to 5% every year to keep up with inflation and going times is what it was. Just to give you a little bit, after a few years when other people became supervisors and doing the budget, they decided when we got elected, we knew what we were getting paid and we shouldn't get any raises. So when in the budget year of 2011, I made $7,596 in 2011. And now this budget is the right number?
8,500, I think.
$8,549. $704 raise a year. And what is that? 11 to 25, 15 years. You know, we are getting way behind in our wages, in my opinion. That's my
Well,
my
okay, so if you look at it just in a part-time job classification,
Mhm.
if you show up to this part-time job 3 days a week, you would want to make more than
Mhm.
barely minimum wage.
Mhm.
I
And
mean, if
then,
you kept track of your hours, you're probably not making minimum wage.
right. And the amount of responsibilities that come with this job, and the amount of
Sure, and the amount of we have to answer to everything.
mhm.
And her with all the numbers and everything that has to match and everybody's tax. And yeah, you've got to keep quality wages to keep quality people.
But you know, the clerk has to run the elections
Oh,
and
Yeah,
do
it's an
them
enormous job.
precisely without getting into trouble.
Yep.
He has to take all the grief from the township, taking,
Yep. He's got big
Everybody-
decisions he needs to make.
So I don't know. Seems a little low.
Yeah, I think some kind of cost of living raise would be in order.
Sharon, did you reach out to any other townships? I didn't do any homework.
I haven't this year.
Okay.
I've done it in past years and brought that to the meeting, and it didn't seem to make much of a difference. But
I know Bertrand is like way, way higher than these.
mhm.
Their last I knew, which was like 15 years ago, their supervisor made $20,000 a year. Did almost nothing. And their clerk and treasurer were over that. So,
Yeah.
what if you guys, if it's okay with me if we
Yeah,
cost of
it's,
living, whatever percentage you
well,
want.
the taxes this year went up 3.1%. If everybody's happy with 3%, I don't know. It's,
Well, over the years, I went up 0.64%. So we were really kind of lacking when you took the average of what my raises went, or my wages went up. Well, 0.64% is nothing. And I do this job seriously. This is part of a career for me. I take it serious and I'm very adamant about doing it properly. So it would be nice to be compensated somewhat.
well, that's why this is a workshop. What's everybody think? I gave my input, but like I said, I'll go along with everybody else.
What do you think? What do you want? Robert just said 3%. You
Here,
Calculator?
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You probably looked the other way. I figured up 3%. If that's what everybody wants to go, that's fine. If you want to go more, that's fine. I know that's what we went last year.
if there's some people that don't do a whole lot. And
So I'm going to get a $756 raise for the whole year. 3% plus
How much?
no, I'm sorry.
256.
So $256 plus $85.49. I'm up to $8,800 for a year of work. That's not even $1,000 a month.
And it's not just the
And
hours.
so $733 a month, that's not even $100 a week. And that
And that was
being
at 3.
responsible for millions of dollars.
Well, he did have what you guys think, you know.
And I don't think that's enough. But the reason it's not enough is because we have only gotten 3% or less
Okay.
in years of nothing. So the amount of money, I don't know, what is your input? What do you guys think?
Well, think about it. If the tax roll goes up 3%, 3.1, and I don't have a problem increasing it. But what does it look like to the public if they get 5 or 6, whatever it is, and
Well, if we show them raw numbers, they'll understand it better. 5% maybe sounds like a lot to some folks, but when you look at it and it's only less than $1,000 a month to do what she does,
It's $427. If you have 5%, it's $427 a year more.
so I can't see anybody squawking about that to keep a treasurer that keeps the books accurate. And
So you're saying from 2011 to now, you haven't even had a 1% raise.
No, because there was years that the supervisors didn't give us any raises.
Okay.
So you take from so in 2011, the wage was $7,596.
This isn't only the
In
supervisor's
I'm just
decision.
talking, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, but the budget from 23-24 was $8,300. So that's $704 over all those years. So I guess it's up.
and being a public servant, there's years you might not get a raise.
And
There's
years,
been many years I haven't gotten a
right.
raise.
There is years you don't get a raise. Yes, I agree. So
but like you said, if you look at the surrounding areas and we're that much behind, that's not good either. We need to try to stay balanced. I think all of us here are doing the best we can. We want to do more. We're all willing to take days through the year to get education, to learn these new things. There's so much changing at the state. So it's not just what we do here. You and I come to a meeting. We've got planning time. We've got educational time. And that counts for something. I would be inclined to maybe go 4 or 5%.
Okay.
What do you think? You're quiet.
Yeah, I'm new. I'm a newbie, honestly. I'm in over my head. So I did a lot of the budget things that Robert had asked of me. So I'm starting to learn a little bit. I am in favor of a raise mostly because of the lack of raises. Not necessarily, I mean, believe me, extra money is always good in my pocket, but I know that the clerk did just get a raise before Jackie had advocated for a raise. So I mean, I am in favor of a raise. Yes.
And I'm okay with the trustees staying where it is.
no, because then you're running into the same thing.
Yeah, but
That the trustees and the amount of homework you need to do to be up on all these subjects as well. And if we don't give a raise across the board, then you're getting way behind for the next person that comes in. You're the trustee wage. So it needs to be something across the board, in my opinion. So
Is everybody happy with 3% or what? I mean,
It doesn't sound like they're happy with 3%.
Well-
Which I'm not trying. I'm going to try to do middleman. So are you guys thinking 5?
I was thinking 5%.
Okay. And Robert's thinking 3. So
well, I'm thinking to stay the same where I'm at, but
okay.
Well, you can if you want.
so you just told Gerald he
Well,
couldn't.
but I'm just saying, if you really wanted to, you could, and we'll just
Luann?
raise them after the
Yeah.
next time.
what do you think?
I understand to make it fair across the board, everybody gets the same. I would be okay with 3%, but I don't think with what she does, 3% is enough because of how low it is. So 3% here, 5% there. I could accept something like that very easily, or, both of them, because the office people do more. You and I, it's on us, and, but
But your wage is only $3,203.
yeah, I don't even acknowledge that in my income because it's
Minuscule.
not play money, but it doesn't add up to much over the course of the year. I feel like I'm doing this more as a volunteer.
Those
And
wages,
yeah, it's not, but I mean, I'm willing to do it for that, but it sure would be nice to know that you're appreciated and get the increase so that the gas is, to go to these education things and the amount of time I spend on my computer and ink and paper is adding up a lot more than my first 4 years. So yeah, it'd be nice to get a raise.
what do you think, Gerald?
Given these numbers, I'm okay with the 5%, but I don't think a trustee needs that. The three of you guys that actually work, I think need to get more money.
I would like to say something on behalf of Luann. When I'm up here, she's in and out, and she's pulling out files, and she's up here a fair amount. You might just have to get drug along. That's all I'm going to say.
Kicking and screaming, huh?
Uh-huh.
Because the three of you actually do work. I mean, this is not doing work salary.
No.
So
And, yeah.
you need to get more.
Well, I guess I looked at it, I didn't really come here, I come here to serve the public. I didn't come here for salary.
And yes, but your time has got to be worth something. And the driving around.
Well, I guess it's my way to give back to the public. That's the way I look at it.
Well, I don't think it would be bad if we voted on a 5% raise and then you just declined your, I mean, that would still keep you in your, you'd be happy, and that would be your sacrifice for the community. And
Yeah, that's fine with me. I don't have a problem with that. Like I say, I didn't run for office for the money. I run to give back to the community.
are we ready to vote on that then? Is that,
We
or is there
just,
more talking?
we make the recommendation,
Okay.
and then we don't actually vote right now, we just make the
Oh, this is
recommendation.
Just a
meetings.
recommendation.
This is just what we'd like to see, and then Robert will go and put things in place.
Whatever we decide tonight, I'll put it in place, and then the 31st
Okay.
I'll come back with these numbers. They'll all change whatever we decide tonight,
Okay.
and we'll look it over the 31st and pass it.
Okay.
That's the way it works.
Do we make a motion for the 5% or just recommend?
This is all just recommended, this is a workshop.
Yeah, I'm 5%.
Well, what? Just
What,
5,
Robert?
just 5% for the clerk and the treasurer? I mean, where we at? So
I feel,
I can put these numbers in.
Let's say across the board.
Across the
Treasurer,
board.
clerk, trustee, and the supervisor's more than welcome, because none of us are going to live forever, and someone's going to have to step in. And I think it would be easier to get someone to fill it, because not everyone is.
So,
That's a very good point.
so,
We have to
well,
look to the future.
so what are we gonna agree on? 5% for everybody? Is that what?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we got over the hard part.
yes, that is the worst part.
That's always a sticking point. So on page 6, this year we need to seal coat and stripe the parking lot here at the office. Last year we did the cemetery, and I got an estimate of $5,675.15. That's through is it laser asphalt? I think it's laser asphalt. What we always have do it. The next one down, this is, we need a new, lawnmower for the cemetery. And Laura checked that out. It was $14,568.59. Here's the quote. If anybody wants to look at it,
It's through Keens,
through Keens, it's a zero turn
and they
and
have put a special discount on there because we are a municipality. And
Municipal
it's a
discount.
Skag. It's made in the United States by a company that's family owned, and they produce military equipment for our military. So they're very good.
So you have
okay, let me explain this. This is what the new mower costs, $14,568.88. On our last audit, and I think everybody understands, I've been trying to get rid of these accounts. Last year, I missed Marcus. I wanted to talk to him about it, but the way the audit showed, we still have $13,472.45. This year, I'm going to make it a point to catch Marcus. I want to eliminate this account because I think if everybody remembers, we're going to eliminate this account and also building account as soon as we can and put everything in the general fund, because if you put them in these accounts, this is the only thing you can use them for. You put it in the general fund, you can draw out the general fund and use it for anything. And so that's the recommendation from the last CPA, is to get rid of these accounts. And for some reason, we still got 13,000. So what I want to try to do, and Laura still got it in the cemetery fund, and I'm sure this will work, but I wanted to explain to everybody what I wanted to do. I wanted to take the mower out of this account, get rid of this account, and I'm gonna have Marcus help for that. So that's what this is all about. And if this some reason we can't do it, Laura's still got money in the cemetery account to cover the mower. We'll get to that later. The next thing is a park. Give the same as last year, 14,000. This year for the road repair, the brine, and the Murphy Lake Dam, I want to increase that 10,000. Seems like that cost keeps going up, and so I want to increase that $10,000. Roadside mowing, we didn't use it all last year, so I'm going to keep that at $5,000. He does have a little repair to do on the mower. The refuge account, I want to keep that the same because we still had $150,000 left in there. And as of December, it looked like we still had a lot of money in there to cover for this fiscal year. So I want to keep that the same as last year. Secretary's salary, we just increased that $17. Head sexton, $600. And the cleaning lady is $70. I never did get a for the Terry's.
Oh, I should have a copy.
I never did get what you recommended for that.
It was on the same page as the head sextons.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that. Sorry about that.
from the cleaning person, you're going up to 70 a week, or did that go?
Well, we're going to increase that $10, yeah.
Okay.
Jackie and I talked about it, and so that's our recommendations.
Now, is that when she cleans the whole office, or doesn't it get broke down because she doesn't do all of it at one time?
I guess what I understand, this is the average. The other money for the clean lady comes out of the fire fund.
Okay, the fire and the police.
And the police
So
fund.
this is just the township.
This is just the township office in this area here,
Okay.
and the bathrooms, of course.
I'm looking for that, and while we're
Okay.
discussing that, Tammy texted and asked about the zoning administrator, the deputy zoning administrator stipend. Right now, they're making $17 a day.
Do we have one?
We don't, but she doesn't want to hire someone at $17 a day.
I think that could be $17 an hour.
When, and I know she went over this with me, I'm just trying to remember, wouldn't we only need a deputy zoning administrator, like when she's available?
No, she could use a deputy zoning administrator
Okay,
to go and investigate or take pictures of complaints if they needed to.
Yeah, this is $17 a day rate.
Yeah, and that was just like if they went on vacation because they didn't do that much. But this, you can have a zoning uh, deputy uh, zoning administrator. You can hire them per day, and they can help and work along with the zoning administrator.
okay.
And that was 17 a day or an hour?
Yeah,
It was 17 a day, and I think it should be 17 an hour or something.
The way it shows now, Laura, he gets $467 a week. I didn't know if you wanted to increase that.
Yes, actually, because I wrote up that one thing and I made a copy and gave it to you, but I think this is your copy that you just maybe gave back to me because I'm not finding page. I think they're on 6, 7, and 8. I'll have to look through another file. Yes, because I think with Terry's background in mechanical things, he's saved us money on. We haven't had to take things to shops to have them repaired. He's been able to do it in-house. He's done a good job. So he has saved us money.
So what did you want to put him to?
I remember that's where I made the paper. Let me quick look back here.
You want me to look, see if I don't think I had any numbers on him, just Larry. And we just gave him a raise. So I assume you want to keep him the same, but that's up to you.
Yeah, he did just get quite a raise.
Yeah, it was $92 a week.
Let me quick do the math and I'll see if I can. Because I was thinking $1 an hour at least.
I mean, you want to go $500 a week, or you don't know yet for sure?
That wouldn't quite be.
Okay.
Oh, yes, it would be. That would be more than
500 a week.
would be more than $1 an hour raise, right? Because 467 plus
You figure
30.
30, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yes, I think that would be nice to do that for him.
Is that what your recommendations are?
Yes, it would be.
So at 500 divided by the 30 hours, you'd be making 1667. Okay.
Okay. The fire fund, we'll get to that later. That's all broke out. The police fund, Gerald, to explain, back in the 23 and 24 budget, it was 2.2 mils. Last year, we dropped it down to 2.1 mils. And I'm recommending 1.9 mils this year because we got such a surplus, and I don't believe in keeping the people's money. Let them keep it. Murphy Lake will stay the same, $194 a year.
Do we control the Murphy Lake weed stuff just because it's on the tax bill? Is that why it's on our budget?
Yeah,
On
we,
the,
we, we,
property
we
taxes?
control the money,
We just hold.
but it's still their recommendation. Let's say if they want an extra spraying or something, that's all up to them. All we do is control the money.
We just
We just hold it for
we
them?
hold it for them and write the
Mhm.
checks to the
That's all we do.
entities.
But they control it per se.
They're the ones that figure out how many sprayings and how the association figures that. They just, when it became a special assessment because they were trying to do weed control, and when they did the association collecting the money, not everybody paid. So when they did the special assessment, now it's on their taxes and everybody pays equally.
And we have to hold it.
And we're just.
Yeah, we just hold it for them and write the checks. Yeah. So, rails and trails, we've been giving them $5,000.
Did he ever get back with you on his?
The budget?
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta pass it Monday night.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He said he was gonna, and he's pretty good.
Yeah, we got, just like the park, we gotta okay the budget. Okay, this is the, fire fund that I was telling you about, the attachment. This is all their pay, the fire chief and the assistants, and I don't know if everybody wants to keep them same as last year, or if they want to increase them. That's why I left it blank. It seems like sometimes we give them a raise, sometimes we don't.
I have a question.
Okay,
Oh, sorry. From the meeting that I was just at, I know they're volunteer firefighters, correct? Or is that not considered?
They're volunteer.
Okay. If they work because someone had said that they just paid their volunteer firefighters $50 like for each call that they go out on. And the attorney was standing up there and she said, that's fine if they're out there for 1 or 2 hours, but if it's a long fire and they're out there and they end up making less than minimum wage, that's a problem. So I don't know how we structure how our firefighters are paid. Are they like,
I think it's $14 an hour, isn't it, Sharon?
Yeah, they
Am I
get
looking
paid.
at that
So
right?
if they go on a call, they get 1 hour,
okay,
and the amount of time they're on the call, they get paid an hourly wage.
okay. I just saw this $9 per hour. Like fireman wages, I saw 9, but then it went down and I wasn't sure. Oh,
And
that's
of
from
course, so the-
2006.
Of course, so the captain and stuff, you know, they get
So the
more.
bottom line is what we're actually paying right now, correct?
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And for this budget year, I left it blank because I didn't know what everybody wanted to do. Last year, we gave them a raise. The year before, we didn't. So I didn't know what everybody wanted to do. So that's why I left it blank.
I think that we could do a raise this year if everybody else feels the same. So as you see, the chiefs and the captains, the officers get more per hour. And then the lieutenant gets 15 an hour, and then the fireman wages is 14 an hour, and the meetings is $12. And then this reports, that's for the person that does the reports, they get paid per report. That $5.
Oh, okay.
So there are certain reports that they have to send into the state and different things. So they get paid for the reports they do. I would be comfortable giving them more because they're very important people and they get paid for the work that they do. It's not like they're getting paid. If they show up, they get paid. If they don't, they don't.
Well, there's some of these officers, the chief is making considerably more money.
Mhm.
Now, me and Sharon have discussed this, that his duties need to get split up because
Okay.
he's doing everything and everybody else just follows along. And if he gets sick, retires in 2 years, nobody's going to know anything of what's to do.
So I need some cross training per se.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I
these
don't
other
know.
officers, I think, should start picking up the slack a little bit. I mean, chief still has to okay everything and all that stuff, but I think they need to start maybe being compensated more, but doing more of the paperwork and the filling of the oxygen tanks, or scheduling it, that kind of thing, also, so that
Yeah.
it isn't all on the chief's back. If he has to take a month off, does anybody know what's got to be done next month?
Wait, honest with you, I don't know how it's structured. I never got involved in it, I guess I want to say. So that's up to you guys. You know
Yeah.
more of what's going on than I do.
And we'll do more of that at the fire board meeting,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff.
That does make sense.
The delegation and they do come in, like they do have like, when I've been speaking with some of they do have like, when they work on the trucks, like once a month they go and they do checks on all the trucks and they have certain groups that do that, divide it up. So, it's probably more the administrative that Dave does a lot of the scheduling and things like that. So, but as far as the wages, I don't know. Do you think the officers or firemen wages need to go up at all?
As much
How's our fire budget?
Yeah, there's money in the fire budget.
as much malarkey as they have to put up with it. This is basically, if you sign up to be a fireman, you're not really a volunteer when you got to do 300 hours of training and
Right.
whatever all the other training that you got to have to do.
Do they get paid for the training?
No, we pay for
No.
the training, but they don't get
They don't get paid while they're there.
while they're there.
Okay.
So
Just
I would be comfortable raising the wage per hour by $1 an hour myself.
Okay.
So from 14 to 15, is that what you're telling me?
Well, you got, yeah, so if you make the meetings $13 an hour, a meeting, the wages 15 for the firemen, 16 for the lieutenant, 17 for the captain and the assistant chiefs.
So what you're saying, raise them all $1? Is that what you're telling
That's
me?
what I'm, yeah.
Okay.
And then as far as
$15.
the per year wage,
You want to leave the same for this year, or it's up to you guys. Know more about it than I do.
These two lieutenants and a captain here, I think would rather get hourly rates. If they go to anything,
well, they're usually at the calls.
$200, do they get paid to go to the calls?
Yeah.
They
Yeah, they got hourly
Yeah,
wage.
they get
Oh, they
hourly
do?
wage, yeah.
Yeah, the 200.
Yeah, they get the wage. And then this
Yeah,
is just,
$17. Well, 16 this
Oh.
year, but
yeah, so
Okay.
they get paid, so they're
That's
getting paid
on and above.
more because they're the ones that are,
I see. Okay.
yeah. So that just the basic fireman is getting
He was like
15.
$200. That's not good.
So, even if you gave them the
Gordon's people are saying.
the lieutenant captains and chiefs $100 raise, it's not much, but I guess that's because I feel the
Yeah, that would be fine with me.
so that
So $300 for the two lieutenants
mhm,
and $500 for the two captains.
yeah.
Okay, now how about the two assistant fire chiefs?
Go to
The same?
900
Okay.
and then 5,100 for the
Oh.
fire chief.
5,100 you said?
Mhm.
Okay. And okay, now let's recap this. The fire chief 5,100, the two assistant fire chiefs $900,
Mhm.
the two captains $500, the two lieutenants $300, fire chief $17 an hour, two assistant fire chiefs $17 an hour, the two captains $17 an hour, two lieutenants $16 an hour,
Mhm.
the fire wages $15 an hour, the fire meetings $13 an hour, and how about the reports?
Per meeting at 13.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
13
sorry, $13 per meeting.
Yeah.
I'm looking, okay, you're right. And the reports, anything on that?
How much work do they?
$5?
Are they getting paid their hourly wage to do the report?
No, we just get paid per report. So
Is it a quick?
it's
I don't know what
they got to fill the paperwork out and send it to the state.
Okay.
It's a mermaid report, they call it, and it's a state and a mermaid. So there's different reports you have to do.
Is that what Mark Jensen does?
No, he figures the wages and
Oh, he does the wages.
he does the
stuff.
wages. So I
Okay.
think Rachel
Yeah, or,
Burns does the reports.
Okay.
We could raise that to even $5.50 per report or $6. I don't know, just because it's her time here doing it. But I don't know how many reports she can do in an hour.
Right.
I guess I could
Yeah, I have
ask.
no idea.
I'm okay with leaving it at $5. So whatever you guys want to do.
Okay. Why don't I kind of maybe I can reach out and ask her how long does a report take to do, and then if it's a lot of time, I'll
Yeah, if
make
it's
a suggestion.
half hour or more. If it's
Yeah.
15-minute report, and she can crank 4 of them out at a time.
Right. So
Yeah, I have no idea on that.
So we're going to leave it there for now.
leave it there for now.
Leave it at 5 or just wait to see what you come back.
We'll leave it at 5 for now, and if she feels very underpaid, or I'll just kind of
Okay.
back.
Okay, now this next one is a wage and salary increase effective administrative assistants $17, board review $16. I increased that $1, and that would be hourly. Extra help $10, I guess extra cemetery help. What do you want to do with that, Laura? It's $13 now.
Is that the seasonal employment?
Yeah, like the string trimming and whatever else.
The extra help, is that the in-office extra help? Like when we cover for the office hours when the administrative assistant isn't here? Or is that for something
No,
else?
that's Jackie's
Yeah.
$17. Is that the one you
No,
know?
No,
the,
the
it says under
$10.
board of review, it says extra help, $10.
We need to raise that to at least minimum wage. I worked an hour and a half. I got a check for $11. And I was like, what is this 11? And she's like, you make $10 an hour. I was like, oh, I didn't even know I got paid when I covered for her.
So what do you want to?
I feel like the extra help should be minimum wage. Is that, or
What's the minimum wage now? I have no idea.
13? or
I know it
just
has to
under
be
$13 for
That's-
minimum wage?
It's gone way up.
I thought it was like $12.75. It should say on one of our posters in the
I was listening.
or we could buy 12. Are you guys good? I mean,
Well, I think it should be a little more
What
than,
is the minimum wage rate in Michigan? In series heads.
1373 of 26. What is it currently? 1248.
12.48,
so if you made it $13, then that,
$15. Okay.
that's even.
As of January 1st, 27, it's going up to 15.
Mm,
Mhm.
We're gonna have to get a raise.
mm. Okay, the extra help for the cemetery. Laura, any ideas?
How much did you say they make? 13.
$13 right now.
Have we had trouble filling that position?
Is that just high school kids that come in and do extra work for them?
Yeah, well, high school, not really high school kids, but yeah, most time it's retired people. Because you got to be a certain age to work in cemetery. You get to be 18 years old. Um,
I'm more inclined if it's a retiree to give them more money just because.
they really are just doing it to get out.
and I think the last few years, Larry and Terry's been pretty well doing most of it. But they have had extra help.
Okay.
But
If it was something that they weren't able to get someone in there.
I think
was
they've
thinking-
had.
I
good
mean,
luck.
we can. I don't think that's a big budget item. I mean, as far as hours. So if you want to increase a little bit, I don't see a problem with that. But that's up to you. I feel that's your ballpark.
If they haven't had any problems filling it, then let's just keep it at 13.
Not to my knowledge, they have, but
I mean, we might have to address it if they need help and they can't get someone to work for $13 an hour, then we can address it. But if they haven't had any issues, and Sharon is correct, you know, if someone's just doing it to help out and it's not a huge money earner, then
okay. The cleaning lady, I put $13 on that extra help for cemetery if that's what everybody agrees with.
Yeah.
The cleaning person $70. The planning commission, I increased that to $2 for the secretary and chairman, and $2 for the planning commission. Others, everybody's okay with that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Zoning board of appeal, I increased that $2 for both, or I should say all 5 members, I guess I want to say.
Yep.
Okay, the deputy treasurer, 1340, I increased that $40. Is that enough or not? That's annual.
I guess I would like to discuss what about the deputy clerk? Are we going to try and keep the deputy clerk and the deputy treasurer at the same wages?
well, the 1340 is more than what Jackie would be making right now. Oh,
Well, aren't they that the same right now? I believe the
no, she was at, because it was either 1150 or 1050. She was not doing she was not at 1300. per year.
Yes, I thought in the last budget that they were the same, but then we went back to
We went back to the
hourly wage and then we went to the,
because I remember reading the number because
so what are you thinking for the deputy clerk?
that was the
to
tricky
get?
part because like this year we don't have an election, which I'm very grateful for because I'm clearly still learning the ropes with just the stuff the clerk does. Next year though, we are going to have the gubernatorial election and there's a lot of stuff that I know Jackie did that I never saw her do it. She was just, she'd come in, she'd get it done. And like the meeting that she has with you two, so I know there's a lot of stuff she's going to have to teach me for that election. So my thought was give her, honestly, if we wanted to keep it lower this year because there is not an election, and then maybe next year do a little bit more and then drop it back down after that because she's going to have to teach me a lot more next year when we do have the election. So
Are you comfortable with 1340 for her as well?
let me quick do the math on that.
Okay.
That's $111.66 per month, and they take taxes out of that. So yes, for like this year, but I think
Okay.
next year
Well, then we'll have another budget
we can
workshop
so we
next
can
year.
raise it next year then
No.
possibly.
Deputy clerk right now, we pay $16 an hour.
We just changed that back to a stipend.
She hasn't got
So you want a
16
stipend.
We went back to a stipend
Yes.
last
at
meeting.
the last meeting.
Okay.
It was
I
like,
better, I'm gonna put that right up here.
and I don't know if she's cut herself a check. I don't remember signing a check for deputy clerk yet for her.
Right.
I don't think
It's to go back.
Right.
And maybe she wasn't in.
I told her.
Okay.
I told her this is retroactive.
We'll make sure that she knows and get it.
So what
Hey.
do we want to do, deputy clerk?
So deputy clerk, deputy treasurer, I do agree, $1,340.
For both,
Yes.
Yeah, per year stipend.
okay. And I'll put deputy clerk in there and remove it from the bottom here. At Sexton, we agreed $500 for Terry.
That was for the,
That's per week for the head sexton and the sexton. Larry's getting $600 a week, and Terry will be getting $500 a week. The fire chief and all I'll fill that in with what we just agreed on.
Okay.
Fire board members. Yeah, I'll get that 30.
what does that mean? What is the fire board members?
Isn't that you and Sharon?
That's
Oh,
for each meeting that you guys go to, you get $31.
oh,
So you raised it for the other two, the commission and the planning commission and the zoning board?
I kept it the same for the park board member. No, I'll take that back. I did increase it $1 for the park board and the rail trail member. So they get $31 now, same as you guys. I increased that to $32. That's my recommendation. I didn't know about the fire board members, what you guys want to do. If you want to go another $1, the same as the park board and the rail and trail members, that's up to you.
Makes sense,
That
yeah.
would be fine.
Okay. That'd be $32. Increase $1. Okay, and like I say, roadside mower, or let me see, fireman wages, we already got that. I'm gonna have to put that up above. But anyways, roadside mowing, I thought about giving Terry a $1 an hour raise. I think he's doing a good job, got a lot of good compliments. I don't know if that's enough. I don't know how everybody thinks.
So it'd be $18 or 17?
So, well, it's 16 now.
Okay.
And I thought $1 an hour more for $17 an hour.
That
That's
sounds good.
my thoughts.
I'm good with it.
And like I say, park board members and the rail and trail members, $32 a meeting. Deputy clerk, I'm gonna move that. Election work, what's that?
you do have the fireman wages up there where the firemen are and down below.
Do I
You
have them
already
in
have it
both
up.
places? I'll just remove them from here then. Okay. Election workers,
Yep. I looked at those. Those are good.
those are all good.
Um,
All of them are all the way down to the training,
I know the chair. Oh, training chair. Okay. Yes. Yep. Those numbers are good.
the same.
Yep.
Okay, I'll put that in. Zoning administrator, $600 a month. I know we just gave her a raise, so keep it the same as,
It's fine.
okay. Deputy zoning administrator
I would like to make that $17 an hour instead of a day rate
per hour,
per hour worked.
okay. Let me see, okay, I'll have to change that around. Okay, I got $17 an hour for that. FOIA hourly rate,
We have to charge FOIA at the lowest, or at the price of our lowest paid office worker, so that would have to be 17 instead of 16.
17,
Yep.
okay. $17.
And that is, if somebody does a FOIA request,
I don't
they
get
have
it.
to be charged for the hours that it takes to process the FOIA request.
I've got a doozy right now.
Okay, as of January, the current IRS approved rate is 70 cents a mile. I've already got that there.
Is there anything for the police board on here, or do they not? I'm fine with that because I never thought about getting paid.
There hasn't been, but I guess we can always add it if you feel you need it. I don't know.
I don't know as we have a police board meeting, other than like meeting with Lieutenant Hall.
That's what I just assumed. Is that different than the fire board meeting?
Well, we meet every other month.
Okay.
We have a scheduled meeting.
Okay.
I've never known them, but I mean, I don't know why there's not a, I mean, it's the two of us.
And I don't foresee us hopefully having a lot of meetings, but
No,
And as far as the park board, we meet at least 9 times a year.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rails
no,
and trails.
I was
You
just
meet every
simply
month?
asking.
yeah.
In the summer, we take off.
Okay,
So basically, when we have a meeting, we
At
just
least 9 months, yeah.
talk to each other and then
Right.
just make the decision
Okay.
when there's something comes up.
And I'm fine.
Okay, me too.
okay, these are all the numbers I came up with. I looked at what we spent last year and December 31st of last year on where we was at, if I needed increase or decrease it. These are all the numbers that I used for the general fund, the fire fund,
What is what is that short for?
Appropriation.
Appropriation.
and basically, well, if we had to do any, if we're forecast to do any anything on the building, and as you can see, Dave asked for $116,150 for equipment this year, and that's on there.
They were talking of like doing something to the floor. Is that what Dave was asking you about?
Are they epoxy?
Like they were getting prices for epoxying the floor.
I wasn't on his list,
It
but
was, but they see that would be a building
Building.
maintenance with us. Not it wouldn't involve Arbela.
yeah, right.
So, and I know the first bid from the first company for epoxying the whole area, which is a big area, $45,000.
Mm.
But he was looking at getting Jeff was getting other.
Did you check with Houday? Because that's who done the community
That was one of them.
center.
They were.
Oh, that was one of them.
That's one of them. They were looking to get a
Oh, okay.
bid with. But so I don't know if that's going to affect any of your. They'd like to do it, I think, before the.
I guess he
Open
didn't
house.
tell me nothing about that, but I mean, we do have money in the building fund that we can use.
So that would be some. Okay.
And we do have money. We'll just have move money from the general fund, but he didn't say nothing about that, so I didn't know anything about that.
So Robert, when you say we got to move money from the general fund into the fire fund, can't we just pay it out of the general fund?
I don't know. I don't.
Is it?
We could, but I always thought you had to transfer it from the general fund to the fire fund if that's what you're using it for.
Well, that's why I question when you say we can't have these pockets of money.
Mm-hmm.
If every time that we have to do something for the fire department and we have to do would that be a budget adjustment?
Well, yeah, budget adjustment.
So that budget adjustments mess up my reconciling the bank account. The fewer budget adjustments, because when the auditor and I've tried to get this through his head, when the auditor makes a cash budget adjustment, it thinks that we wrote a check out of the checking account for it. And so in the system, it's taking it out of my checking account when it didn't come out of the checking account. So I really would like it that that we have as few budget adjustments as possible, or because I've worked with BSNA and I've talked to the auditor, and neither one knows how to do it so that it doesn't throw off my cash account.
But Dave, the old auditor, has told me, he says, I would like to see you guys get rid of these accounts, and if you need money, take it out of the general fund.
So take it out of the general fund, but why do you have to take it out of the general fund and put it in? That's my question. Do we have to put it in
Maybe
the
we
fire
don't
account?
have to. I understood you had to,
That's
but maybe we don't.
if we
We can talk to the auditor and see what he says.
that would be good, because if we're not having the pockets of money and we're taking it out of the general fund, why do we have to take it out of the general fund and put it in that pocket before we spend it?
Yeah.
Well,
I
it's
guess I could-
earmarked properly on checks.
Well,
You keep-
it's
you
in
keep
the
it-
system as
Yeah,
far as,
okay.
but so,
I guess you know more
That's-
about that than I do,
yeah, so
Sharon, but that's the way Dave told me.
and David and I have gone around and around about
Okay.
him
Okay.
doing these and
guess
taking it out of the cash
I-
checking account when it doesn't come out of the
Yeah.
cash checking account.
Either you could ask Marcus or I could ask Marcus because I think he's a new auditor.
I have
Budget
Maybe
talked,
that's the
first.
point of getting rid of the pockets that are not necessary.
but
Then it's easier counting. But when you have the pockets, you might have to do that. I don't know.
so I will reach out to Marcus, because if you're getting rid of these, then you have to have a better way in the
Yeah.
system. So I'll take care of that, but
And Dave's excuse is you put money in that building fund or you put money in a machinery fund, it could sit there forever and you can't use it for nothing else once you put it in those funds. So he says, I'd like to see you get rid of those funds. If you need money, take it out of the general fund.
and that's fine. Just take out the general fund and pay for it.
Yep. I mean,
If that's what he meant. So I'll work you. Okay.
yeah, that would be something you'd have to reach out to him and
Okay. I just would really like
And
to
you could
avoid.
still have projected plans on what you wanted to.
right. And like I say, that floor, I didn't know anything about that. So
And I just had heard about it.
yeah, so I didn't know anything. So that's why it's not in the budget because I didn't know anything about it. But that $116,150 that Dave would like to spend, and I guess it's been okay through the fire committee. Arbela pays for 40% of that, as you can see up above. That was 40% of is $46,460. Okay. This is the police fund. Of course, you see a big surplus. That's why I want to drop the millage down. That's what I project to be left over after this budget year. It's almost $400,000.
And we won't need a new vehicle for about 3 years.
We shouldn't. We just got this one on the road
Yeah.
not too long ago. I'm projecting the refuge fund to have $186,195 at the end of this. The problem with that is if you have a fuel surcharge, they don't tell you until the end of the year. So, but that will still cover it. We'll have a better idea. But it seems like we keep going up on that, so we're staying ahead of the game on that. Let me see, the Murphy Lake Fund, of course, so we got money there. The building and maintenance fund, let me
This is one
see.
you would like to get rid of.
This is one of them I was told that it'd be best to get rid of it, and that's what I've been working on. At the end of this budget year, I'm forecasting $20,355,079. Whenever we do maintenance on the building, which the floor we can use it
Would
for.
be a good.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
When we redone the carpeting and everything else, we took money out of that fund. The parking lot, we took money out of that fund. We've been taking money out of that fund. Machinery, and I think I explained to that, I would like to get rid of that. You take the mower out of that fund. It'll still be short a little bit, but we can take it out of the cemetery fund, and if that's what I'd like to do.
Why is
If
there,
not,
why is there $16 left? What does that mean? It wasn't the mower 14,000.
um, I don't have a reason for that. I'm gonna talk to Marcus when he comes here. I want to eliminate that fund altogether. I want to take all the money out of it. And so,
Buy a fancy keychain for the mower.
well, what I want to do is eliminate it altogether, take all the money out of it for the
Spend the
mower
extra $60.
and be done with it. Well, this is all the expenditures for the township board, the supervisor, the elections. What I did was I looked at it, okay, what did we use last year, of course? Okay, where are we at December 31st of last year? Are we gonna have enough or not? Some of those I increased, some of those I kept the same. I don't think I decreased any, I don't think. It basically, I mean, this is a crapshoot. Most of the time, you don't use all the money here. So whatever you don't use at the March 31st, let's say 2025, it all goes back to the general fund if you don't use it. So it's not like, okay, you budgeted too much. Well, it don't matter. It goes back to the general fund. I'd rather budget too much and not enough. The clerk, so the clerk and the board of review and the treasurer and the township hall, and this is all the breakdowns on what we budgeted for. And Laura had me last year on the cemetery fund on page 18. We had building, we budgeted 50,000 for the building and 1,000 for equipment. Laura wanted me to go 15 for the building and 35 for the equipment. That way the mower would be covered for the cemetery. But like I say, I want to take it out. I want to eliminate that machinery fund.
What do we do with the building for 15 grand?
That's just in case we got to do repairs on the building or whatever.
Oh,
Said we didn't.
It's there. It's there if we need it. If we don't, it goes back to the general fund. I mean, it's not like you got to spend it, or if you don't, you lose it. Well, it just goes back to the general fund. We start over next year. Employee friends benefits and all that other stuff. Murphy Lake Dam, we budget 12,000 because we got that bill we got to pay each year.
and what does that consist of? What we're in
Murphy
charge
Lake.
of their dam?
We got to pay our share of that dam when they put it in. The township had a percent share that they had to pay. So that's what that's all about.
Taxpayers pay.
I think was that a 20-year? I think that was a 20-year bond or something.
Yeah, so
I think it was 20 years.
I don't know if it's like, is it like 60/40 or something, but it's on their taxes.
Yeah.
Murphy Lake people, it's all an assessment on their taxes.
They pay a percentage of it, and the township had to pay a percentage of it. The DNR had to pay a percentage of it, and I think that's it.
Okay.
And that was all done through the Drain Commission. We was handed a bill, and this is
We
what
have
you
to
owe.
pay is this like a yearly maintenance, or is this
No,
just
that's
our
to pay.
20-year
That's to
plan?
pay off the. That's to pay off the dam
The
that
20-year,
They
whatever.
replaced.
they replaced. I don't know if you're familiar. They replaced the dam out there.
Not really, no.
What, 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Like that.
Was it when we had that big flood and all the other dams? It was not.
No, it was after that.
Just was war.
Because Eagle said you either replace it or something does happen, you're gonna wish you did replace it. So the Drain Commission and the county commission put together a plan to replace it. We had meetings here, a lot of residents weren't happy about it, but it was basically up to the county commissioners what they did, and the county commissioners voted to replace it.
The drains at large, that's another thing we don't have any control over.
Mm-mm.
They decide what drains they're gonna do, and then they put it on everybody's taxes. If a drain somehow drains your property, you get a tax for it. And so that we have probably, I'd say, 10 different drains in our township.
And what I do is call the drain commissioner every year. I say, okay, what can I expect as far as the work you're gonna do this year? Well, they give me a ballpark figure. It could be more, it could be less, or so that's what I judge that on. Economic Development Authority, we always give them $1,000. Okay, the park board and rail trail wages is $14.40. That's where our $31 right now comes out of. And let me see, the park board, I budgeted 14,000 and rail trails 5,000. So I
Where's the
don't.
park board?
What is the park board? You mean as far as where that money is?
Yeah, what
We
is-
allocate as a
Or is that the
township.
Is that the book?
Arthur Latham. Board.
Okay,
Yeah,
and that's the board that you're on.
yes.
That runs
Okay,
And the way that
I
works, Gerald, let me explain it. The way that works is the township gives them money and the village gives them money.
okay.
We give them 14,000. I think the village is 6,000. But the village also helps us out with grading and different, if we need something done, they help us out. That's just what they give us. It used to be Arbela Township was involved in it, but they decided to get out. So there used to be 3 entities into it,
Okay.
but Arbela decided to get out, so.
Do we know why the sign at like 115 and Millington Road spells Latham incorrectly? Fixed.
We didn't have nothing to do with that. The DOT did that. And
There's your answer.
we had absolutely nothing to do with that.
I was like, well, that was a creative way of spelling that.
Yeah.
Okay, I have,
Any other questions?
yes,
Okay.
Esta.
Oh, okay.
Because when I went to the Capitol Conference and they talked about volunteer firefighters, there we have to, by state mandate, include them in the Earned Sick Time Act. Also, that changes it, Sharon, which I just realized today, because that puts us over 10 employees at that point. So that means we've got to start doing it now. Like, it's effective.
Which I don't have a problem with. I was going to start it effective when we can back.
We had discussed that, but we had thought we had 3 employees, and then I realized we have a cleaning lady. That's a 4th employee. And I was like, and then the volunteer firefighters, I knew that, but then it just, like, if you have 10 or less, you didn't have to start until October 1st for the earned sick time.
Mhm.
And then Sharon and I had discussed it, whether we want to front load or accrue. And I think we felt like front loading for our 3 employees would be best, our 3 weekly employees.
I agree.
And then I feel like Sarah, who does the cleaning here, I feel like hers and the volunteer firefighters should be earned, because we can't front load. And the volunteer firefighters, it's a moot point because they're volunteer. The only way you can use your earned sick time is if you take it off from a scheduled shift. They're never going to have a scheduled shift. Because it's volunteer firefighting.
And yet, in the state's wisdom, they say
Yes.
that we have
So
to give it to
this was one of the things where the lawyer was like, it doesn't make sense, but they are employees, so they have to earn the earned sick time, but they can never use it. So it's okay.
Bookkeeping nightmare.
It shouldn't be too bad, because the bookkeeping, actually, the system will do that. We'll enter their hours and the system will update it. I mean, we'll have to keep track on it, but they can never use it. Sarah, the cleaning lady, can use it, but she's going to have to earn it for every
So-
11 hours worked. She'll
so-
earn an hour.
If she gets paid per cleaning, how do you figure what her hours are?
I don't know. That's a great question. That one I didn't think into. I thought we really had looked at this from every angle.
So many angles when you get
There
back to
is.
it.
So, but that makes, with having the
Well,
volunteer firefighters,
is-
instead of pushing it back to October 1st for our start time,
Right, we'll have to
we have to
get
get this
it,
going.
which that was what the motion was.
Okay.
Whatever we had to follow, which we were going to front load them. They're going to have the 40 hours anyway.
And the good news, we do not have to compensate them if they do quit or their employment is terminated. There's no
Yeah, they
saving
can't
up.
Roll over
Yeah,
or
they
carry
can't roll
over
it
or
over.
Yeah,
pay
the
out.
state of, and Sharon figured out why they can carry it over but only use 40 hours. Did we explain this to you guys?
No.
Okay, so if they get 40 hours, this is going to be a moot point again if we're front loading them 40 hours. But if it was earned, they accrued 40 hours in the course of a year. Well, then at December 31st, it goes away. Then they have to start accruing it again. Well, when are people sick? January, February, March, and they're not going to have that time available to them because they're accruing it. if we were forced to roll it over, they'd say they only used 20 hours of their sick time. Then that means we had to carry 20 hours. That gave them their 20 hours while they were accruing more. So by the end of the year, if they've taken another 20, then, they have 40 hours that they can roll over. But we do not have to pay them out if employment is terminated. And that's really doesn't apply to us if we're going to front load the 40 hours for our 3 employees.
And the way that you wrote it in that new contract, it was at the end of the year, you use it or lose it.
Yes, that's
Correct.
Correct. And like Laura points out, they can't just say, I'm going to take a sick day and go hunting. They really need to be sick or
have a family.
have a,
What alternative? You can't say I'm 15 minutes late. I'm using own sick time. That doesn't count. It has to be related to an illness or to.
Yeah, but if I
I'm
got
trying
runny
to
nose,
follow up that they're actually sick.
I got runny nose.
I mean, that
They're
would be,
sick of working.
no, I want to do the mental health,
Yeah.
so.
Why, there's nothing easy anymore, is there?
there is- So,
Now when the state gets involved, it gets even more complicated.
So let me ask you this. Is it all hours, let's say if they're in a meeting, that also included or just their hourly? Let's say they go out on a fire or,
Meetings are not included because that's not a shift. That's just a meeting. That's not a shift. They're not.
but they're not on shifts, they're on 24-hour call.
They're on call. So exactly. So they can't take advantage of the earned sick time. We're mandated to.
Well, when I'm saying what hours do you use? The hours that they're actually,
Yes.
okay,
Yep.
that's what you use?
So the cleaning person, we're going to have to discuss that.
That's kind of weird though, because if they get paid to go to a meeting.
But they can't take it off because a meeting is.
No, I'm not saying take it off, but
for
does that count?
firing, because if the cleaning lady gets paid to show up,
Okay, hold on.
it would be strange that if they get paid to go to a meeting because they're volunteering to go to the fire run, they're volunteering to go to the meeting. But if we have to give it to them, it seems like it would be part of their time.
So are you
That
saying
meeting.
if they're sick and can't go to the meeting, you're gonna give them?
No, I don't know. I ain't saying that. I'm just trying to figure out
I know.
if we're giving it to them for the hourly rate.
Maybe I misspoke or maybe misunderstand, but they get 1 hour for every 30 hours they work, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So-
Okay, now what my question was, okay, they get an hourly rate. Let's say they're in a meeting for 2 hours, those 2 hours count?
No,
No, they just can't get,
Just their hourly that
Yeah.
they're on a,
that you're working. It does it does stipulate.
stipulate.
right?
Thank you. I was going to try to mix it with.
No, I'm just
simplifying.
asking, I don't know, I mean, I'm just
Yes.
asking if that would count or not, but it's just the hours that
It's
they,
just the hours that you work.
okay,
Meetings, unfortunately, do not.
okay. No, I'm just asking.
So it's hours that they work on fires or calls, I should say. And they earn the time, but because they don't have any scheduled hours, they can't ever use the time. So like you said, it's a bookkeeping nightmare.
That is strange.
And everybody's gonna be different on how many calls they make.
Yep.
So when we get that report for the 3rd month, we're gonna have to figure out,
Mm.
this guy worked this many hours, and we're gonna have to somehow either report in there or somewhere put.
The SNA is scheduled to add it incrementally. We have to input the hours and they will do the logistical nightmare.
Yeah, that's where it's great. We have
Otherwise,
the
I'd be
SNA.
walking.
So, and also, just for your information, the ESTA time or all the time, the vacation time, ESTA time, and paid sick leave or vacation. Anyway, that is all separated in our system, so we can put in the hours they work. If they get a holiday pay, that's one. Vacation pay one. Sick time one. So it is separated out in the system.
So this contract or whatever you made up, did you email it to everybody or, cause
Yeah.
I don't think I got it, or at least I didn't get it since noon.
So no,
Well, it was a week ago.
it was
A
Friday.
week ago.
Thursday or Friday. Jackie
I'll
sent
have
it
to-
out to all of us and the zoning administrator. We had in the letter to get back to me or Laura by 4:00 on Monday so that we could send it on to the,
Sorry, I must have missed that.
yeah.
I'll have
So,
to go back and look.
yeah, so that it's.
Cause I guess I didn't know what you was talking about, so sorry about that.
There's a couple of slight changes I made, before sending it. to the lawyer, but we asked that he get it back to us by Friday so we can get it to you again with any changes
Okay.
he has and any changes. And then when we get to the meeting, hopefully everybody's gone over it, read it. If you have a question beforehand, please let one of us know. We'll be glad to answer them. And hopefully we can shoot through it and get it done at the meeting.
And I did,
Pretty,
Pretty good.
pretty good. It was just kind of
basic.
keep it basic,
It was-
keep it simple.
Yep.
I mean, if something comes up, if you have to change it in a year, you change it in a year. But
So
it looked pretty good to
instead of
start
saying company at the end of the paragraph, I changed it to Millington Township. That was one that we missed. I missed. You may have said. So I just changed a few of those little words like that. So it was more to us.
And in there, it does reply to regulations like, what does it say? Where we're like
So it is with
policies.
policies. We do want to try and get policies. We will have their
Get a small
job
book.
job description put on it. And it also refers to it applies, any ESTA rules apply to it, and that they will get a copy of the ESTA rules as well. So that they know I can't roll these over and I can't, I have to use them for this, this, and this. And also, when they take a vacation day, it's for their scheduled amount of time. So if they get a week's vacation, it's scheduled for those
seen that in there
days.
because there's too many different
So it's,
allotments that we have just to put a general word. That was,
That was her idea.
for your schedule.
your scheduled time would
Yeah.
be, if Larry takes a week's vacation,
It's
it's 30 hours because that's his scheduled time. It's a week of that. Tried to make it as clear cut and yeah.
Yeah, with everybody working different shifts, you got to kind of be general.
Yeah. The only thing we got to figure out is if the Jackie's time off, if she earns hour and a half of comp time or paid time and a half. And I told her, let us know what you want.
Yeah.
I talked to her today, and then that'll be the final discussion of, so the thing is, so can she earn sick time if her daughter is sick at school? She could use that to go get her. But if her daughter has a birthday party,
Yes, I told her. You're not
She
leaving
can't-
for a birthday party.
she can't go and get her daughter early from the birthday party and earn sick time.
I said you can use your vacation time now.
Yeah. So there's like, and like, I know, Robert, you said, how are you going to know who's sick or not? But
I'm not.
I got the sniffles. I'm going on.
Sniffles. Okay, I do have one more thing, is we need to figure out who's going to represent us at the ZBA. When is that meeting? What's the date of that meeting?
27th, ain't it?
Wait, of this month?
Yeah.
I think Tammy should represent us.
I do too, because she's been with it from the beginning and been to all the meetings. She's better spoken than I am. The lawyer could do it too, but he costs more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whatever. I know I'm not doing it, so.
Does it start at 6? I'm literally flying back that day.
Yeah,
I think
it's at
it's 6:00. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can watch it on YouTube.
On the plane. I think I'd come in the evening.
Well, you can always watch it later, but yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. Any questions on the budget?
No.
I will go back and change what we just talked about. And if you would like, I'll give you a copy before the 31st. That way you can look it over, make sure there's no change or no corrections that need to be made.
Sounds good.
And we'll go from there.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Support.
There's been a motion to adjourn, been seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passed.
Okay, so Sharon made the motion and Louise.
When
You will not be able to read